Hello Leo, my name is Henrique and I'm going to tell a bizarre story. I was 5 years old and was in my room. It was almost bedtime and my mom always told me to start resting my eyes, right? That way I would start feeling sleepier and sleepier. Then she would close the door so the hallway light wouldn't come in and disturb this process, right? Since it was on and the room was all dark, I could see her shadow when she passed by. So I used to stare a little bit over there. Until one day, I saw something strange. My mother put me to bed and closed the door. But right after, I see a shadow going the same way as her. It couldn't be someone else because I live alone with her. So I opened the door and went there. But everything was normal. She was preparing the beans for the next day, soaking them, but I was puzzled by this. So she put me back in bed. I kept watching and saw her shadow passing. And again I saw another one coming behind. This time I was quick enough to open the door in time and see. And I saw a man following her. But it wasn't a living person, it was a soul. He looked like my late father. I recognized him from family photos. He passed away when I was 1 year old. I told my mother about this. She said she already knew and felt his presence, but couldn't see him, and that I shouldn't worry, until there came a time when I stopped seeing him. I don't know why. Hi Leo, my name is Clara, and the story I'm going to tell you still shakes me to this day. I don't know if it really happened or was a collective delusion. When my father passed away, I was 11 years old and my brother was 15. It was a loss that left us devastated. We adored our dear father and were very attached. For a long time, we would visit him at the cemetery every weekend. We would bring flowers and spend some time at his tombstone. We would prepare some snacks and spend the whole afternoon there. One day, I don't remember exactly when, we started to see a man who was always there too. He was a tall man, a bit chubby, and he wore glasses with somewhat brown lenses. He would always come walking, get close and start talking to us. Probably he was going there to visit a loved one who has already passed away. Several times when I went to visit my father, that man would show up and start talking to my mother. One fine day, my brother and I were walking among the graves, looking at the names of the deceased. Some even had a photo of the person. Until when we turned a corner, we came face to face with a photo that was on a tombstone, and you won't believe who it was. Yes, the man who kept talking to us there. My brother and I were very scared, but we thought it was a coincidence, that it was possibly a look-alike or twin brother. I don't know. We went back to our mother. She was talking to him. Taking a good look at the guy from top to bottom, it really seemed like that guy was not from our world. We told our mother that we wanted to leave soon, and we did, leaving the guy behind. The following week, the man showed up again. He came close to us and said the following: "Since you know and are scared, I won't come back here anymore," and we never saw him again. But the guy's grave is still there, and his photo looking at us. Hello, my name is Bruno, and I'm going to tell you a story that happened to my uncle. And he has a very sinister story that happened on a road in this big Brazil. In 1990, when he started driving a truck, something happened that marked him a lot. He was 20 years old and worked transporting food. He delivered a lot of food to various cities. There was a specific road that was very busy, and there were consequently many accidents on this route. One day when he passed by, he saw a bus split in half from end to end, and this bus was left there on the shoulder for many years abandoned. It was common to smell a very strange odor in that passage, and they say that they still find human parts on the shoulder. So he made the delivery and started to prepare to return, It was about 18 hours, and it was already starting to get dark. He liked to stop at a station to take a shower and have a meal. It was about 5 hours back, so he went on. A rickety little pickup truck, one headlight kind of pointing up, the other down. But he had a good view, so he kept going. Until when he was passing by the place where the bus had crashed, it started to rain. He went very slowly, so as not to have any accidents. He saw a white spot far away. He couldn't identify what it was, and he kept going, and that figure never got any closer. So he yelled out, "What the hell is that white thing that I never reach?" The moment he said that, this figure appeared next to the passenger door, past the entity, and he could see a bride smiling. He looked in the rearview mirror and saw the bride in her white dress. He accelerated as fast as he could, and the bride followed him. Until from so much acceleration, he saw the lights of the gas station where he used to stop. He wildly entered the gas station yard and braked to stop the truck. He almost ran over the attendant and stood still for a while thinking. The attendant came over and asked what had happened. He didn't answer anything. You must have seen her, right? The ghost bride. And he mentioned that on Friday nights this bride appears, and many drivers arrive at the station reporting her apparition. She appears and tries to cause accidents on them to get a ghost groom and be able to marry in the world of the dead. He also explained that on a Friday night, in that bus that had crashed, there was a girl inside who had gone to buy her wedding trousseau. As she was with her friends, she put on the dress to try it on the bus and was joking around with them. She was going to get married the following week, but she couldn't because the bus crashed, right? My uncle said that years later, when he passed by there, he no longer saw the ghost bride. However, according to the reports of drivers who stopped there at that station, she still roams that region in search of a groom. Hi Leo, I'm André, 13 years old. I'm going to tell you a story that happened to me. This story takes place in 2016 when I had a week of tests to take. I had just finished studying for the test, and I went to take a shower to sleep. When I got to bed, I was already organizing my things. I heard the noise of the television from the first floor of my house. It was very loud, so I started going down the stairs slowly, and I saw my mother turn to the television, staring fixedly without blinking. Since my mother always woke up early, I called her to sleep because it was 11 at night.
"Oh, Mom, come."
"Sleep, don't you think it's getting late?" "Partner, my mom kept looking at the television, and I heard her talking to me from upstairs." "Son, who are you talking to?" At that moment I ran upstairs, and as I was climbing the stairs, I heard some heavy footsteps behind me. I quickly got to my room, closed the door and locked it. I heard loud knocks on my door until my mother said, "Stop making a mess in your room, boy. Tomorrow you have to wake up early." Then the knocking stopped. The next day I didn't say anything to my parents, just that this ended.
No.
As soon as it got dark, I went to sleep because my exam week was intense. But I couldn't sleep again due to the loud sound of the television. I was wondering if it could be the thing that knocked on my door. So I went there to see from the stairs. I saw my dad watching television, but he wasn't blinking. That didn't smell good to me. I got out of there, went to their room to check, right? And to my surprise, both were sleeping. What's going on here, man? I locked their door, mine, and went to sleep. The next morning while we were having breakfast, my mom asked, "Son, did you lock our room?" "Yes, Mom, to keep us safe." "Oh, okay, I had to get the spare key to open it." "Don't lock our door anymore, and when you leave the room, turn off the television." This is the second night that the television is left on and no one is watching. Every now and then I wake up, the television is on. I already imagine that it's that. Hi Leo, my name is Sophie. I'm 12 years old. I came to tell the story of my school's bathroom. Well, there are 2 floors, and in the 4th year I went to study on the 2nd floor. However, there were 2 female bathrooms, one next to my classroom and the other next to the library. But when me and my friends entered the bathroom near our classroom, we got a scare. It was very strange and frightening. It looked like those bathrooms from horror movies. So we avoided that bathroom for a while and went to the farther one, near the library. But one day there was an art class, so we had to wash our brushes and cloths in that bathroom. Only the one at the library was closed for maintenance. So me and my friends had to go to this creepy bathroom. We were very scared to enter, but we went anyway. But suddenly while we were washing, we noticed that the bathroom stall door had been opened by a broom. We finished washing the brushes quickly and left. After that, we didn't go there. We kept that event in mind, wondering if it was a spirit or something that moved that broom. So I decided to install a ghost detector on my phone to check the bathroom. So I told my friend and 2 boys and we went. Upon arrival, the bathroom was closed due to a water shortage, as indicated by a notice in front of the door. We went in there and I pointed my cell phone with the ghost hunting app, right, to see if I could find anything. When we looked at the screen, it had detected a ghost, and it was inside the box. Suddenly we heard the sound of a flush, and the door opens. We could see on the screen that it was a girl in a white uniform with a very torn red ribbon on her head. We printed the screen and ran out of there. My God, what was that? A real ghost in the bathroom. Once inside our classroom, we looked at the print and there was nothing. We were terrified by this and decided to ask someone in charge at the school about that mysterious bathroom. Then one of the coordinators told us the following, that years ago a girl was bullied. Her hair was very envied, and the enemies were messing with her, cutting it with scissors, throwing gum in it, among other things, until one day she got tired of all this and died in that bathroom. Since then, her soul wanders around the bathroom to take revenge on the girls who hurt her at that time. I was surprised, and so were my friends with the story, and to this day the bathroom is little used by students due to its dark and sinister air. Hello Leo, I'm going to tell you a story that happened to me. I was constantly teased and assaulted at my school by a guy much older than me, bro. He was known as the Thing. That's because he was bald and looked like that Stone character, you know? I was in 5th grade, and every time recess came around, this crazy guy would come and bother me. He would come to collect the day's payment or eat my lunch. This jerk took money from other kids too. One day I decided not to bring either money or lunch to punish this jerk. So when recess time came, as always, he came to press me against the wall to rob me. But I said I had nothing. He didn't believe me, searched my pockets. It was a huge mistake. He assaulted me and I came back home all beaten up. My parents went to the school to take some action. But his parents never went to the school. All they could do was suspend him and send notes for the parents to sign. In fact, I think this crazy guy didn't even have a father, man, after he came back from suspension. I got beaten up some more for telling my parents, so I started hiding in the bathroom during recess, man. I got out as fast as I could before the bell rang, and the Thing intercepted me. I managed to hide for 4 days. Only on the 5th day did he see me going to the bathroom. And I had no escape. He realized I was hiding. And he charged me for all the days I was hiding and the ones he was suspended too, man. And if I didn't pay by the end of class, he would finish me off. I only had money for that day's snack, man. I just kept thinking about when school would be out. So, 5 minutes before the bell rang, I made up an excuse to the teacher to leave early. The back gate was always locked, but I could jump the wall and escape from the thug. I started to climb, and when I was at the top, the Thing shows up running to catch me. He was coming at an absurd speed, man. Then he pushed off the wall and managed to grab the wall. The guy looked like a gorilla, man. I was walking along the edge of the wall, man, and I moved away, right? But at that moment, I felt part of the wall sway, and a piece of it collapsed, dude, with both of us on top. I remember the scene in slow motion, and then everything went dark. I couldn't see anything. After a few minutes, I managed to open my eyes. Everything was black. I saw the thing falling next to me. I couldn't walk, and suddenly someone in a hood appears and says,
"It's not your time yet. What are you doing here?"
So I said that I had been in an accident. Then this hooded figure came up to me and touched my forehead with his finger. And I woke up in the hospital. My parents were watching me and they were overwhelmed with emotion when they saw me. According to them, I was there for 2 days trying to survive. It was sinister, Leo. Thank you for reading my story. Hello, Leo. My name is Neto Oliveira. And what I'm going to report today happened when I was 12 years old. I was with my friend named Gilberto. And it was around 4 in the afternoon when we decided to go on a trail that was nearby our house. It was about 15 minutes by bike. So we took our bikes and pedaled there. This trail was away from any house. It was a forested area, and there were some stories going around. Macabre about that place, of people who would go camping there at the top and ended up not coming back. And the reason for this happening was that if the person went to the end of the trail, they would arrive at a haunted house where vengeful spirits lived. In 1965, a gang of delinquent bikers. They climbed the trail and decided to throw some Molotov cocktails at the house at the top of this trail. But they didn't know that there was an elderly couple living there. When they realized that the two were inside, it was already too late. The house had already been swallowed by the fire. They were all arrested for the crime. So they said that the souls of the elderly were still haunting there, and it would catch everyone who came to the house as a form of revenge. My friend and I decided to go there to check if this story was really true or fake. We saw sneakers scattered around torn clothes, items from people. If the legend is really true, these are from the people who died here, right? After 20 minutes going up the trail on a little bike, we spotted the house from afar. It was really burned and all chipped. There were still 2 rocking chairs on the porch, and as we approached, we saw the chairs rocking by themselves. Then the door kept opening and closing, opening and closing. We got really scared and decided to get out of there quickly. When we looked back, we saw the elderly couple with their burned skin without eyes coming out of the house and staring at us. We rushed down with our bikes, releasing the brakes, and flew all the way home. We told all this to our parents, and they told us not to go on that trail anymore. Since then, I've had nightmares because of that event, and looking at it today, man, we were lucky to get out of that haunted place alive. Hello, Leo. My name is João and I'm 11 years old. I wanted to tell a story that happened to me when I was 8. It was my dad's birthday and we were at home having a barbecue with the family. We were at the tables in the garage of the house, and then I saw through the gate a couple dressed as clowns, accompanied by a very large dog. I didn't know what breed it was, and he had a scratch on his left eye. So I kept looking, right? What is this clown couple doing there in front of the house gate? So they started laughing. Looking at me intently, they were scary and they kept staring, making strange movements. Spiders. And then I panicked and tried to warn my grandmother who was by my side. But for some reason I couldn't say anything. My grandmother saw my superhuman effort to try to utter a word. She asked me what happened, but I couldn't answer her. Then something unexpected happened. The couple outside started banging on the gate, man, punching and kicking. Everyone immediately looked over there and noticed what was happening. I started to feel nauseous and my vision darkened. Shortly after, I wake up almost vomiting from so much adrenaline. It was just another dream, one of the many nightmares with clowns that I had when I was little. Thank goodness it was just a nightmare, right? Hi Leo, my name is Aitor and this story happened 4 years ago. And it ended about 2. Almost every weekend I would go to my grandfather's house in the country. He lived in a condominium in the middle of the countryside. My family and I would always gather there to stay for a few days. One day I was riding my bike there, and right in front there was a gigantic thicket. I saw something moving and running very fast. I was afraid it might be a snake or some weird creature. Then a very injured white kitten came out of there. A few seconds later the owner showed up. I forgot her name, but it was like those old people's names, you know? She saw that I was trying to go into the bushes to see if I could find anything that hurt the animal. She immediately said, "No, silly boy, don't go in there, kid. Don't you know that those bushes are dangerous?" So I replied, "Are there snakes?" "Boy, don't you know what's in there?" "It's not like that. There are things inside that nobody would like to see. I've had many cats. They go in there and never come out. It's not an animal or anything. What's in there is from beyond." So I left there and went home. When I arrived, I asked my grandfather what was in the bush, and he said the following, that the owner of the condominium, Mr. Jurere, lived there. So 2 years passed. I went there with my friend João and my sister. I remembered that day and told them about the story of the bush that was still there. We took a flashlight and a handmade slingshot, so we went there. We entered the forest and we went inside, my partner. It was late with the orange sky. That place was very spooky and we could barely see 2 meters ahead. It gave me a strange energy, man. My sister got so scared that she ran back to the road to go home. So it was just me and my friend left. We kept walking, right? Suddenly we heard the sound of bushes rustling and we panicked. We ran to find the exit. But after walking for a long time without seeing the horizon, you don't know where you're going, right? And what we found traumatized us? Piles and piles of bones, man. Animal stuff, human stuff. Everything was weird, all that mixed up, you know? When we looked back, man, we saw a thin man, white hair and mustache floating behind us. We ran desperately and couldn't find the exit. We looked back and the man was floating at an absurd speed. My partner and I were crying, running and screaming. Then he let out a piercing scream and I fell to the ground. At that moment my friend was pulling me towards the exit and he kept coming even faster. By a miracle, we managed to get out. My sister had already arrived. We told everyone everything and only my grandparents believed us. They scolded us and grounded us for sneaking out in the late afternoon. The next day we found the old lady who was my grandfather's neighbor from the beginning, who had the kitten. We told her everything. She said that the owner of that place died a while ago and she was his friend, but something happened on the day he died. She heard screams in the bushes and told us, "Boys, you never know what might be there. What's in that bush is beyond. Every living being that goes in there never comes back." It was a miracle my kitten got out. Nowadays, my grandparents don't live there anymore. Consequently, I never went through that bush again. I hope you guys enjoyed this bizarre story from the subscribers. And if you want to send a story to appear on this board here, just send it to this email, subscribersleo@gmail.com, okay? I'm signing off now, bye.